Hi, this is John Linneball from John Linneball Tutoring. Here is my contact information, and this video is what to do when sheltered in place. What we're covering here, we're covering some ideas about what to do for educational, college admissions, or general life improvement purposes during the virus crisis. And we're also going to incorporate a few other relevant fun facts, and we'll cover whatever else comes up as I'm recording this. If you like this video, please don't forget to give this a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and click on the little bell in the top right corner for notifications. Who'd like this? Well, high school and college students who are waiting at home during the current outbreak, especially if you're looking to apply to college or grad school, or even if you're younger and you're looking to apply to a competitive high school, this should give you some ideas. And anyone else who's looking for things to do might also like this video. Important legal disclaimer, nothing here is legal advice. If you have a legal problem, go see a lawyer in your jurisdiction. Excerpts from copyrighted materials, I use them. They fall under the fair use exception. If you have a problem with it, please contact me. I'll certainly hear what you have to say. If you don't like the way we resolve it, then you can go to YouTube or whatever else you're going to do. All right, thanks for that. First, keep up with school. If you are in school, but you're not in school now because of you know what, then definitely do your schoolwork first. If your school did send you work to do at home, they posted it online or whatever, do that first on or ahead of whatever schedule they gave you. There's no point in doing other extracurriculars if you end up being held back for not doing your homework. Makes sense, right? It's also much easier to do homework in subjects that require concentration when you're in a situation where there's not much else to do. So do your math and science homework, your instrument practice, etc. when you can't go out with your friends, like, say, when you're in shelter in place. And that's just generally good advice. When you go away to college, you'll have more time to go out with your friends and and nobody's telling you when you have to go to bed. So it's best when you do the really rigorous things when you're still in high school as opposed to college, or you do it during the day rather than at night when you're tempted to want to go out and things like that. Same thing applies here. Just, take care of the stuff that's rigorous and hard to do and a little bit boring, but that really pays off when you don't have as many temptations. Speaking of temptations, yeah, Netflix and Amazon get old pretty quickly unless you take some, in quotes, breaks to do work anyway. Study for the SAT and the ACT. While you see schools suspended ACT and SAT and minimum grades, there's no guarantee that other schools will. So you should still be prepared to take the SAT or the ACT. Use the time to study for the SAT and ACT, both math and verbal. Math takes time for most people to learn. It's a process. There's only one answer, and most humans just aren't very effective natural computers. We're just not. Our brains, most of us don't have brains that are built very well for math. Certainly compared to any kind of electronic computer like the one that I'm doing this video on, we are real math slowpokes. So you need to discipline yourself to learn the process, to learn how to do math. And if you're in advanced math, you may have forgotten some of the basic math that's tested on the SAT or ACT. I tutor so many kids who are, I'm taking advanced calculus and I'm a junior in high school. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but some of these kids are. They're taking calculus their senior year, maybe in their junior year. And then they look at basic geometry for the SAT and they say, I haven't done this since 8th grade. So go take a look at the basic math. Also, what the SAT and the ACT do with math, that they can say, hey, you should have learned this by the first week of 10th grade. They can make some very difficult problems, so you do want to practice the math. Also, you want to know the grammar rules on the SAT and the ACT. That is, for example, they. It's not a It's not a singular gender-neutral pronoun, because it just isn't. I've used it that way since I was about 8 years old, but it's still technically not proper standard American English, and definitely in SAT land or ACT land English, it is not the right answer. So just remember, in SAT land, their English isn't the same as your English, and you do need to study and learn the differences. Also distinctions like who and whom and things that most people don't really use anymore. But that's why they test you on it. Research good schools. If you know what you're interested in studying, why not find the best schools for it? Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Stanford, MIT, Caltech, etc. They're not necessarily the best schools for what you want to do. I'm not saying Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Stanford, Ivy League, or Ivy League type schools aren't awesome. I attended a very Ivy League-like school. MIT and Caltech, of course, are fantastic science and engineering schools, but they might not be the best schools for what you want to do. For example, Juilliard in New York would be better than Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Stanford for somebody who really wanted to be in the performing arts than any of those schools. The school I attended, Williams, actually has a killer theater department, even though I wasn't a theater major, but very good theater department, but still probably Juilliard's better if you're really serious about being a performing artist. Google is your friend, as are U.S. News and World Report, Peterson's Guide to Colleges, and many other college guides. So once you've found schools to which you might apply, you can research the faculty. Now, one thing is Peterson's actually has a research, they have a site where you can go to, Peterson's Guide to Colleges, that comes up. Here's Test Prep, College Finder. Also, as we show on here, they have the, print versions of it. I picked the 2017 cover because I just thought that was a pretty cover. So those are all things you can do. And as I just said, once you've found schools to which you might apply, you can research the faculty. So what I did is I did a Google search on NYU English faculty. Let's say you wanted to go to New York University for whatever reason, and you were very interested in the English department. Maybe you want to go to NYU because you want to double major in English and film studies, you want to write movies or something like that, then you probably would take a look at the Department of English, NYU Arts and Science. Okay, so you might look at people, faculty. Okay, John M. Archer, Renaissance drama, early modern literature and culture, the history of subjectivity, literary theory, philosophy, and literature. Okay, so what's this guy? Let's take a look at his profile. And okay, so PhD from Princeton, okay, University of Toronto, and sovereignty and intelligence. So we can see here spying and court culture in the English Renaissance, discuss the portrayal of political surveillance in the works of Montaigne, Marlowe, Bacon, and others, Old Worlds, Egypt, Southwest Asia, India and Russia, and early modern English writing. Okay, and so, all right, so there's all sorts of things here. You could go click on this, and I'll bet it takes you to, all right, Stanford University Press. So this is where you can buy this book, you can look it up, you can get the ISBN, you could probably go to Google and see if you could find that at a local library. So that way, you could say in your application, hey, I was very impressed with your professor, John Michael Archer, and I was very interested in spying and court culture in the English Renaissance, and in fact, I read this book, blah, 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 blah. You will have to actually read the book and understand what it's about for that to work, but it's worth doing. Citizen Shakespeare, Freemen and Aliens, in the language of the plays, okay, how London citizen, the immigrant city dweller, each figure in the action and verbal texture of Shakespeare's drama. So lots and lots of things you could look up here. We can look at somebody else. Okay, we have Yanula Athanasakis. I'm sure I butchered that. I'm sorry, Professor Athanasakis, if you're watching this. Anyway, so we can see, all right, she's interesting. Associate Clinical Professor of English and Environmental Studies. Literary representations of the environment and non-human animals, the Anthropocene, Animal Studies, Environmental Humanities, Race and Gender, and Food Studies. So, okay, clicking on her, well, that's swing and a miss. That doesn't really get us anywhere. Thomas August, okay. Well, or Thomas Augst, I'm sorry, okay, Professor Augst. So anyway, we can look at this, and All right, again, well, we can see Editorial Board American Studies teaches courses in American literature and culture. Okay, The Clerk's Tale, Young Men and Moral Life in 19th Century America. All right, so we can see a couple books here. I know I'm skipping around, but anyway, it says his writing focuses on the literary history of the 19th century, interpreting diverse forms of literacy and media in relation to questions about ethics and self-cultivation, the organization of knowledge, and the cultural politics of modern liberalism. So again, these would all be really wonderful things. Okay, and then there's New Yorkscapes, exploring the documentary record of the city. So he's a principal co-investigator project. So there are lots of things here you could find out about what these people do. You could see, hey, does one of these professors actually seem to be doing something that you think is really interesting and, dare I say, cool? So then you can even email the professor to ask questions. You can, and again, you can use that in your college application. All right. So there's a few other things we can do here. For example, one thing you can count on are COVID college admissions questions. So you can think of the cliched grade school essay topic, what I did this summer, or depending on how you look at it, last summer, the summer that just passed. Or you can think of the movie and the novel, I Know What You Did Last Summer. So, well, basically the colleges are probably going to want to know what you did last summer or what you did during your early summer vacation, spring/summer vacation, because they really want to know what kind of person you are. That is, what do you do with unexpected time? It's a way to find out about your values and about your work ethic and things like this, as George Carlin here has something to say about.
Values. Values of any kind, What you'll do for $10, what you'll do with $10. Really, it all comes down to values, what you value and how much.
And here's another bit of humor. This is a new job interview technique. There are countless ways to pick employees. Here's a revolutionary new way that ensures the way to pick the absolute right one. Take the prospective employee and put him in a room with only a table and 2 chairs. Leave him alone for 2 hours without any instruction. At the end of the time, go back to see what he's doing. If she or he is taking the table apart, put him in engineering. Him or her, that should say, okay. If he's counting the butts in the ashtray, assign him to finance. If he's waving arms and talking out loud, send him to consulting. If he's talking to the chairs, personnel is a good spot for him. If he's sleeping, he's management material. Ha 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 ha. Little diss on management. And if he's writing up the experience, send him to the technical documentation team. If he doesn't even look up when you enter the room, assign him to security. Ooh, a little slam on security guards. If he tries to tell you it's not as bad as it looks, put him into marketing. If he's wearing green sunglasses and needs a haircut, software is his niche. If he mentions what a good price we got for the table and chairs, send him to purchasing. And if he mentions that hardwood furniture does not come from rainforests, public relations will suit him well. So, ha ha ha. There's a little bit about what they're trying to tell is what you do with your time if you're just kind of put into a hypothetical room. Well, I guess also kind of a literal room, depending on where you live, and not much instruction on what to do. What do you do with your time? Charity begins at home. That's a saying people use a lot of times to avoid being helpful with other people, but it's true. Charity, not just meaning donating things, but just love, taking care of someone, caring about someone, does begin at home. So that's probably the best thing to do with your time here is use it charitably with your own family. Find productive things to do. Work on things that you've been putting off. Help your family. Clean and repair things. Teach things to your siblings. Work on projects such as the family genealogy, maybe when your relatives were born and died, etc. It's a good thing to put together. You want to call relatives and friends you haven't heard from. It's not expensive like the old days when long-distance phone calls actually cost something. All it costs is time, and let's face it, most of you watching this have plenty of time right now. You can assist family members who may be disabled, elderly, etc. You can go over to their house and clean, do dog walking, etc. You could also do that for neighbors, but I'd be pretty careful with that because you don't want to be violating your shelter in place orders. You don't want to risk spreading the coronavirus to somebody who doesn't have it in case you are infected with it. And you certainly don't want to pick up a virus from somebody else. So I would probably just keep that to family and very close friends, things like that. Go through your old items to sell or donate them. If you're like most people, you have tons of things you don't use anymore, or maybe even bought and never used. Maybe unwanted gifts. So go through your stuff. Set aside the things you don't want and don't need. Unleash your inner Marie Kondo. Does this bring joy to my life? Does this bless my life? Or in more concrete terms, how long has it been since I've actually used this thing? How likely is it that I'll use this soon? Is it too expensive to replace every whatever the time period is you haven't used it? So if you haven't used it in in 2 years, and you figure it'll probably be another year before you're going to use it, is it something that you could afford to replace every 3 years? Is it costing you storage space that, is worth more to you than the cost of replacing the item? Certainly, if you're paying for an actual commercial storage space, please, 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 chances are you're paying way more for the storage space than the things that you're storing in it. That's probably a good time to sell or give away those items and then just rebuy them when you need them again. There can be some exceptions if there's things that have tremendous sentimental value, but you can't keep them in your house. Great. But, it has to be with an eye towards that ending. Such as some people have had bed bug infestations, so they had to keep something away from their home and let the bed bugs die or whatever. Things like that. So that's a good time to store things far away from your house, is when you have them sealed and you want something to die, that's infested it. Okay. Either way, you can give the things away that you have sorted out. You can, put them up for sale or for giveaway. Well, if you're putting up for giveaway, Craigslist is great. It's also good for selling things. Rooster is another good thing where you can give things away. Free Cycle, as the name implies, it's really meant towards reusing, recycling things by giving them away for free to people who need them. You can also sell on Nextdoor, Craigslist, eBay, etc. Of course, there's tons of online sales sites. So that's basically what you want to do, is just sell the things or give them away. Read the classics. The list of important books to read. For example, pages 135 through 138 of Barron's SAT. That's the 30th edition. I think the 29th and 28th editions, it's very similar. It's something like this. They give you a nice list of books of U.S. and world literature. Okay, you can see Charles Dickens, James Baldwin, Jane Austen, William Faulkner, F. Scott Fitzgerald. Okay, so there are lots and lots of books. You probably have read some of these for school. You've probably seen the other ones listed on the back of Cliff Notes and things like that, all the things they have. Classics, the classics. There's science books. Isaac Asimov has written, I think, 800 plus books in his lifetime. So these are all great things to read. Richard Feynman, Surely You're Joking, Mr. Feynman. Social Studies Only Yesterday. I like that book. There's lots of really good books that you can read that are helpful. W.B. Du Bois, The Souls of Black Folk. Yes, it's pronounced Du Bois. He didn't pronounce it Du Bois. He had personal reasons for doing that. Anyway, so these are all really nice books to read. And here are some things you can read, like the Federalist Papers, the Gettysburg Address, the Northwest Ordinances. These are all, again, these are historical documents you can find. The National Archives online, archives.gov, historical docs. So most of the stuff is available for free. The one nice thing about this situation is we do live in the information age. And if you're watching this, you obviously have an internet connection, so you can get lots of these things at no cost to you. Google Books. Okay, you can go to Google Books and find free Google ebooks. We go to here, we have, okay, Google Books. Here we go, Google Books. Da, da, da. We can even go to the advanced book search, okay, with all the words, with the exact phrase, da, 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 da. Okay, you can go to Google eBooks, and then you can find all sorts of different things, like with all the words. Okay, the best of times. Da, 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 the best of times. Okay, we can find lots of things, and we can even limit it to, okay, the best and worst of times, United States Army. Da, da, da. So you can find lots of things here, as Dickens said. So if we wanted to look for something there, we could, here's books. We could even say, okay, Charles Dickens. Let's assume we didn't know it was from A Tale of Two Cities. Okay, well, here we go. You can find A Tale of Two Cities, free digital copy of a book that's been carefully scanned by Google as a part of a project to make the world's books discoverable online. So these are free books you can literally read, as I said, for free online. So you really don't have any excuse for not reading the classics if it's a goal of yours. All right. So you can also find Shakespeare, Greek, Roman mythology. Anything that's a classic is going to be available online. It's in the public domain, and people who love literature are going to make sure that it's available. Much like Math Help, you can find lots of free math things online, such as you can find, okay, like Purple Math is one where you can find all sorts of free informal lessons with math, and lots of things. There's other ones like Math is Fun. Okay, so lots of great resources no matter what you want to study. You could do that for just about any topic in the world that you could possibly need to study, because there are lots of nice people who want to help you. Learn a language, or just keep up with your school studies in whatever language. You can literally go to duolingo.com and learn a second language for free forever. That's their motto, and you've flashed on that before. Okay, so there's Peterson's. Here's Duolingo, learn a language for free forever. So you can look at all these languages. You can learn Deutsch, Francais, Magyar, Italiano, Polski, Romana, so you can learn Polish, German, Hungarian, Italian. Definitely lots of things you can learn for free. And all right. So you could learn a new skill. YouTube videos can teach you practically anything. I've used them to learn how to install second hard drives on laptops. My father uses them for home improvement projects. You can ask your parents how to do different things that they know, maybe how to cook something, how to sew a button on after it came off, how to change a tire, etc. YouTube, it's awesome. And it's, some ways it can be like the parents that you didn't have, when the parents you do have don't know something. Okay, get in shape. Plenty of exercise videos on YouTube and other sites emphasize getting in shape. There are plenty of other websites for exercises. You don't have to ruin your body by just saying, oh, all I could do is stay inside, so I just sat in front of YouTube or, Amazon or Netflix, and I got so fat and out of shape, this is horrible. No, you can, watch what you eat. You can get outside in most places, certainly here in California. You can go outside as long as you keep social distancing, just for exercise. You can exercise with weights if you have them at home, or you have something heavy you can lift, or you can just exercise using your own body weight. You can do push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups. And remember, cleaning and organizing are also exercise. I know I've moved around a bunch of books before, and that was a lot of exercise, and I do lift weights regularly. Okay. Log, blog, or vlog what you do. Hey, you might end up with a popular video channel, blog, or the idea for a book, TV show, or movie. If you log something like a daily diary or a journal, you'll come up with some ideas. If you put it on video, hey, maybe people will want to watch it and you have a popular video channel. And if you blog, well, then you just have a popular website. Certainly, it'd be nice to have that if you want to answer a college admissions question based on how you overcame a challenge, dealt with adversity, dealt with problems such as this, what it taught you about life, yourself, etc. And you'll also have notes that you did what you did. It's maybe not definitive proof, but it should be good enough for anyone who asks. I mean, if you can show that you kept contemporaneous, that means at the same time, notes of what you did, generally that's pretty good evidence that you really did what you said you did. You can say, hey, don't believe me? Here's the URL to my video/blog. And this is probably a pretty good time to talk about. Here's an article from Forbes that I found looking today is, okay, since we have admissions departments like UC, etc., that are suspending SAT scores, or they're suspending school grades. They're going to either not use them or heavily discount them, make them optional, etc. It's a good time to discuss what do colleges want to see besides SAT and ACT scores and grades. Well, one, okay, here as they say, they want demonstrated interest. Universities do want students who want them, like the old Cheap Trick song, I want you to want me. Okay, I know that's only about 40 some odd years old, but anyway, looking at it that way, it's like 41 years old. I think it came out in 1979. So, okay, if you don't care whether you get into Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Columbia, as they say here, might not get accepted. I mean, it's good to show that you're eager, so that ties back in with the whole researching the faculty, or as one of my students said, oh, it's like writing a letter to a coach. So, yeah, same thing. Faculty, athletic coaches, why do you want to be part of that organization? Whether it's the English department at NYU or the rugby team at Williams, why do you want to be there? And so, on the other hand, a student who makes the effort to show one's school that she's highly interested has a greater chance of gaining admission. It's absolutely true. If you've literally done your homework, you know what the school's about, you know what it has to offer, they're going to believe that you're going to go the extra mile and really put in the effort to do well in the courses and help other people and increase the value of an education from that institution by showing, hey, we put out students like this. This student we accepted 4 years ago is now one of the world's leading experts on this, and that person is just graduating this year, undergraduate, and they're already recognized on a level with people who have PhDs in the subject. Not saying that's going to be you, but it's more likely if you show that you're interested. Essays and personal statements, okay, well, this is where describing what you did, remember, during the coronavirus outbreak, that's going to say, well, what do you do with free time? What makes you tick? What are you interested in? Why should we accept you versus the other 10,000 people who also applied to this school? And, also don't pretend that you're something that you're not. And don't make the mistake that I know I heard about when I was at a presentation given by Williams, Wesleyan, and Amherst College that I think the guy from Wesleyan had this to say. He said, well, I read one applicant's essay and it said, I want this, I want that, da-da-da-da-da. But what I want more than anything is to attend Princeton University. And as I just said, this was an admissions officer for Wesleyan University, so don't do that. Don't make it just cut and paste or mail merge where you're going to write the same essay to all these different colleges, because then you might make a mistake like that. Athletics and arts, okay. Definitely, if you did something athletic, including keeping yourself in shape for athletics when it would be continued, if you learned a new artistic pursuit, maybe you made some visual art or you learned a new instrument or something like that during this time, that's great. That shows you're a self-starter and you're the kind of person you want to do it. And then finally, service and social justice. as we talked about, if you're going to help relatives or close neighbors, things like that, they really want to see people who do something to serve people. Social justice, okay, fine. If you have any kind of thing you would like to see changed in society, then show how you work towards it. Might even be just writing letters, making phone calls, doing things like that, that you can do from the safety of shelter in place. So those are things you can think about. All right. And as I said here, okay, the UC schools are temporarily suspending college entrance test scores and minimum grade requirements. So that's wonderful. But anyway, let's get back to this. Did you find this video useful? Please like it and subscribe to this channel if you did. Neither action costs you anything, and you'll be alerted about my new videos. Why do I care? Well, it's simple. YouTube doesn't let me share any ad revenue unless I have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours, that's 240,000 minutes, of view time in a year. While many people are watching these videos, I don't have 4,000 hours of watch time. Still don't have anywhere near 1,000 subscribers, although I keep getting closer. For the same reasons, you are not only welcome, but encouraged to share links to this video, put it in playlists, etc. I'm always happy to read and respond to constructive criticism or suggestions for new videos.
I'd appreciate your input.
I also reserve the right to delete comments from and block those who specialize in destructive criticism, trolls, or things that are off topic, such as spammers, just wacky, disturbed people. No, please don't put that in my comments. You can contact me here on my cell phone, 415-623-4251. You can also text me if you don't want to call. Email john@johnlindeball.com. My mailing address is 1859 Powell Street, number 109, San Francisco, California, 94133. Thank you so much for watching, and in case you can see this in the background, yeah, I was organizing my clothes too today. So, all right, have a good day.